There we go. You nervous? You ain't gonna speak? You ain't gonna speak? Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
What's good, everybody? What's good, everybody? How's everybody doing? Welcome to another episode of Extra Toppings. And shout out to Miss Michelle Casher for also holding us down once again. How are you today?
I'm alright. I'm okay. What can I say? I'm good.
You good? You just okay?
Yeah.
Nothing else?
No, I'm grateful that
Grateful for what?
I'm still here. So other than that, eh,
That's good. That's good. It's always a wonderful thing. How was your week?
busy
Busy.
as always.
Okay. Rich people status, y'all. I just want y'all to know that.
Right.
That woman is filthy rich.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Also want to, we have a very special guest. We'll introduce him in a second.
Not me.
Huh?
Not me.
You're a special guest too, though.
Nah, I'm alright.
You don't think so?
Nah, I'm alright.
I mean, you holding me down. I appreciate that. E Boogie's in, I don't know what to call it. She's in hiatus, doing the family thing. Shout out to E. Keep doing your thing. But we have a very special guest joining us today. This gentleman called me when we did the show about Takashi, and I put out there how I felt about it, and he called me, and he let me know how he felt about it, and that was a wonderful thing. So we talked about it, and I told him, when we have an opportunity, I wanted to have him call in, because he's in Pennsylvania, and have him do the show with us. Mr. Ace Johnson, how are you today, sir?
Oh, I'm good, sir. I'm good, man. Still fighting a good fight, man. And how everybody doing out there?
We good, we good, we good, man. We are good. Tell everybody a little something about yourself, something you want them to know.
Um, Something I want them to know. I mean, you're going to get the truth out of me. Might be my truth, it might be your truth, but it's going to be somebody's truth. So just hang on.
All right, all right, all right. So you also gonna be seeing my man again on Jets fan views when we go against the Steelers. Give him an opportunity to talk about the great franchise that the Steelers do have. Great consistency. Although all their coaches they've had for over 10 years, so that is by far a wonderful organization. So I want to thank you for taking your time and hanging out with us. You ready, sir?
Yes, sir.
Michelle, you ready?
Yes, sir.
You sure?
I think
Michelle's
so.
on her sixth cup, y'all, so y'all gotta excuse her. She ain't bring nothing for me though.
He's
Oh,
lying.
she white. Is she white girl chipper or white girl wasted?
No, she white girl tipsy. Well, actually, you know what?
Okay.
Michelle handles her liquor very well. She handles it very well. I could be honest. There's one time I can remember Michelle like white girl wasted, and that was when I threw her the 40th birthday party.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It was a man was crazy, yo. She was walking barefoot down Manhattan. It was, it was hilarious, man. It truly, truly was. We got to the
Oh man,
crib, huh?
you had a rough night too one night.
Oh yes, we did.
I want to hear all about that shit now.
Oh, we had a rough night.
Yes, we
Right
did.
before he moved back home.
Yeah,
We all went out one night. Me, him, and my brother. Everybody throwing the fuck up.
yes, we were. That was a great night.
Well, I've seen him throw up a couple of times since I've been with him. He'd be like pretending like he's not sick, and then he go. I'm like, what the fuck? Like you can't handle that
Oh.
shit.
Oh man! All right, y'all. So, those of you just tuning in for the first time, this is Extra Toppings, where we sprinkle our thoughts over today's news and topics. So we have four topics we want to discuss with you today. I want to bring light to a lot of the stories that aren't getting as much notice as Mr. Floyd, Miss Breonna. those particular topics, I will give you Arbery. The three suspects in Arbery's case has been indicted. Brianna, they're still trying to figure out. One officer has been relieved of his duties, but the others are still pretty much, they're still on the force. What do you call that? Administrative leave?
Administrative leave, yeah.
Paid administrative leave. So
What-
they're on
Paid,
vacation
yeah,
right now.
paid
Right,
administrative.
paid administrative leave, so
Which is fucked up.
that it is. That it is.
All the way fucked up.
So,
So we don't want to take anything for those cases, but we want everyone to understand, want to bring as much light as we can to all the cases that are going on now. So what we're going to start in Texas, Florida.
Texas and Florida.
Right, Texas and Florida. And Ace, you were saying that Arizona?
Yeah, they actually added in what is it? Arizona, Arkansas, and I believe it's Georgia had big spikes also.
So, unfortunately, for whatever reason, the world wants to believe that COVID-19 went away.
You know how I feel
It
about
didn't-
that. You already know
it
how I
didn't
feel
go
about it.
It didn't go away. What they did was they rocked the world to sleep so they could respray that shit.
I,
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately, just because I kind of figured as soon as the weather got warm, we were going to have these kind of issues and problems. Because, it's one thing to keep people home in the winter. It's cold. You don't want to go outside anyway. But as soon as you start hitting those 80 and 90-degree days, the beaches open back up, people are going to want to leave the house.
Yeah, I understand that too, but see, the one big thing about the whole COVID thing, when they first started talking about it, which a lot of people forgot about, is the fact that they were saying that 80 to 85 degrees they couldn't survive. So now all these states down south that are having these big spikes, they've been in heat waves for the last month and a half, 2 months.
Facts.
So how'd y'all go from saying 80 to 85 degree weather would kill it to now all of a sudden you got these astronomical spikes in these hot ass states? So it's smoke and mirrors, man. They doing a whole bunch of, they playing chess while other people playing checkers right now.
Agreed.
And,
So do you
Go ahead,
think the spike is happening because people are going out and they're not social distancing, they're not wearing masks?
see the whole social distancing and no mask thing, like my whole thing on the mask is, how can they expect the mask to stop a microorganism when you got on pants and underwear and a shirt pulled down over your ass? But if you fart, everybody in a 20 and a 30-foot radius can smell your fart. So how they expect a microorganism to be stopped by improper mask when a fart don't stay up under all them clothes? You
Good
know
point.
what I mean? Like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Good
So
point.
it's like, how can a microorganism be stopped by a mask that's not even made to stop that? It's impossible.
All right, Michelle, what do you think about
You know,
that?
You know how big I am on this COVID-19. So I actually had COVID-19 and I was critical. I tested critical, unfortunately. On day one, I had 4 Tylenol, and my fever stayed at 104.7. I decided on day 2 that I am going to quit taking the Tylenol. So on day 2, I decided that I'm not taking no pills, nothing. So I really took it by the horns, basically. I tell people all the time, this is where we are all being tested. So this is a very critical time. I have went to check to see if I have the antibodies, and yes, I do have antibodies. Then I was about to donate, and something told me to just wait to see and figure out what's going to happen. They just announced that if you give antibodies, they cannot guarantee that you won't get the COVID 19 again. So the hell with that shit. I ain't giving nothing from my body because at the end of the day, nobody wanted to help me, not even the hospital. I mean, I went to Holy Name Hospital in Teaneck, and they refused to give me the help that I really asked for. And then they sent me a $25,000 bill, which I am still fighting about. So how do I feel about this shit? I'll tell you. I told you from day one. They're gonna minimize it to the point where it's going to really be held down. Then summer's coming, and people they just want to be mushed together for some reason. Instead of being like, okay, let me have a barbecue, let me invite 4 people. No, they're inviting 50 people. They went from the capacity of 25 of 50 people now in restaurants to a 75% of capacity now. So where are we? What are we doing? Ki- what kind of stuff are you guys doing? Like this is a man's made virus. It's not a God's made virus. So if you knew about it since the 70s, why didn't you take actions in the 70s? We're going through the same pandemic that polio had in the 50s and the 30s, whatever the situation was. It should have never happened.
No, I mean I feel what you're saying. I truly do. And unfortunately, you give some people an inch, they're gonna take a mile. And unfortunately, people aren't understanding that it's here. It's not going anywhere.
It's not going.
They're not going to make a cure anytime soon because it's not profitable for the $1 trillion manufacturers to actually go through the process to actually make a cure. So it's going to be here. So you guys have to wear your masks, and the proper masks to wear are the N95s.
N95s, yeah.
They ain't doing
But
shit.
they're so hard to get. They're on back order for months and months. You know what I mean? So if you weren't in certain fields prior to the pandemic, you don't even have access to one.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's they're saying you need this, and this, but they're not producing that what they're saying that we need fast enough in order to prevent it. Why? You know what I mean? Like you could shut because they could be made basically anywhere. So
Real
you
talk.
could shut down. You could shut down this, and this, and strictly focus on making N95 masks, which would end the drought of. Why has that not been done?
Like I
You
said,
know what I mean? So,
I said when I started with this journey, I said every single mask has a made in motherfucking China. Deal with this shit. They gave us the fucking virus and we still breathing their own fucking shit. This is what pisses me off. So many people had laid off from work in the United States. Create a factory. Put a bunch of people to work. You want to save your people? Do it the right way. I do not get it. I don't get it. Oh, we're waiting on ventilators to come in from fucking China.
Well, I mean, if you really wanted to stop something, once this pandemic actually started to catch, I would say, started to catch wind, really speed,
Badly.
I wouldn't allowed anyone coming from out of the country into the country. If you're there, you're stuck there. Just is what it is. But I want people to understand this. Social distancing and wearing your mask, properly sterilizing your hands, washing your funky asses, washing your hair, all this is the only way we're going to keep this to a certain minimum. And unfortunately, a lot of governors are under pressure because so many businesses are shutting down. And this is all because of the overall greed of not just landlords, of the government. Because if the government goes and say, listen, if you defer payments or forget about payments, we'll give you the same relief when it comes to your taxes. If you would do that, then you wouldn't have all these businesses closing because no matter what's going on, these landlords are going to want their rent.
I don't know. I don't really know anymore.
I
I
mean,
just,
can
ugh.
What you
real
got, Ace?
quick, real quick
Yeah.
on that whole thing is Wuhan, China, where
Yep.
this shit allegedly, where the spread allegedly started, right? I'm gonna say allegedly. Um, they've been back open and running around freely over there now for the last 2.5 months, I believe.
Right.
And there has been absolutely no spike in it. Their population is quadruple ours.
Real talk.
So all that social distancing shit and all that washing your ass shit, they don't have the capability of that over there.
It's so
You know
true.
what I mean? So why
It's actually true.
why are they not respiking?
It's true.
You can't tell me that them shutting down for 1 month has done more than us shutting down basically for 3.
Understood. I
And-
can't even argue with that.
You know, so it's like, and you know, and I ain't no conspiracy bluff. That's never been my thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's never ever been my thing. But, and I don't want to blame it on politics,
But it is.
but I call a cat, a spade, a horse, and a dog, a dog. Everything that orange motherfucker is talking about is him doing this, and this. You know, and it's all coming, it's all off of the coattail of this COVID shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it just, it's hard not to say that the motherfuckers that are supposed to be protecting us aren't the same culprits that's giving it to us.
Can't argue that.
You know what I mean? You know, so, and you know me, like, I don't call nobody a snitch without paperwork, saying they paperwork. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and so I can't, like, I really don't like speaking on it, but there's just so much in our faces that's making it seem like that it's us doing it to us that you can't not think about it. You know, you can't not point the finger at them first.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we've done everything they wanted us to do. You know what I mean? We shut down for 3 months.
Right. We did.
So with us shutting down for 3 months, and us opening back up and having these spikes in these hot ass states where it shouldn't even be able to live in that in the first place, according to them. You know, something just, you know, the whole thing just isn't. It doesn't sit well with me.
All right. So let me ask
You know what
this.
I mean? Like,
Let me ask this
yes,
question.
sir.
So we've had these spikes in these hot states. Now in the
Yep.
tri-state area, and maybe probably where you at also in Harrisburg, we've had like a week and change of 90-degree weather.
Yep.
And the fact that we opened up not as fully as those states did, we haven't had the spikes that those states had. So what did we do right that those states didn't?
Nothing.
Nothing. It's just that I feel like it's something that they do not know about. So they're just guessing. So like when they opened the beaches, they just gave the people, "Oh, we opened the beaches." And they gave it to the people up south, like down south, so that, you know, technically from what I'm gathering from the people that I work with and the customers that I deal with on a daily basis, which are black and white people, they say that it's all about the race. They're trying to really kill the population. And it gives me a lot of thought because I think they're right. It started in China, where it's very overpopulated, right? So then they came to the United States. First of all, you got to remember that the election is extremely close too. So now, with the first stimulant check, right, he gave us something. Now they're saying the next one is going to be about 2 months before the election. And I believe it. And then they said
Yep.
on the election time, he might come up with a third one.
He wants those
Just
votes.
because.
He wants those votes.
So I'm like, I had to really think about it. And this was a actually white Jewish lady telling me this. She's like, you don't see what they're doing? And I was like, no, I'm not from here. I don't really, I just don't like to talk politics at work. So I said to her, no, I'm not from here. I don't follow politics. I don't vote because I'm not a citizen. And she's like, well, this is what's happening. And she broke it down, and it kind of made sense. When he started to take, the roads, people had to stay in so they don't show how much people don't want him. Then he gave them the stimulus check. Now people want him because he's talking now about the second one and maybe the third one.
He can
People
keep his
do
money.
a lot of shit for money, and we already
Absolutely.
know this.
Absolutely. He can keep his money. We good.
I mean, look, I'm still
Man,
working.
listen.
Shit, and
Yo,
I was
fuck that
sick, and I'm still working.
What you said, Ace?
Fuck that little bit of money. Put 100 points on my credit score.
Exactly. Or 200.
Yeah, I'm good. Here,
Alright.
give me 100 points on my credit score, motherfucker.
Yeah,
So I can lower these interest rates.
Thank you, because
Fuck
you
that.
said the right thing. You said the right thing. So I will say this: people, try to take care of yourself as best as you can. I
Yeah.
think the moment it gets colder, it's going to get even worse.
Woo.
Prepare yourselves. Prepare yourselves.
I think I'm gonna buy a suit, a bodysuit.
Listen, my best friend flew up from Florida yesterday. He's here now. Actually, he just went to he actually just left to go to the store.
Right.
But this motherfucker told me that he's seen some shit that blew my mind. That's why I'm saying this whole shit about them spraying. Because he drive for a living. So a lot of driving time is late at night. And this motherfucker seen a plane spraying. Yeah, the motherfucker seen a plane in the one part spraying, and there was 2 helicopters in the other part spraying. And now all of a sudden they got this spike in Florida.
Yeah, I don't put nothing past the government. I agree with you guys as far as the overpopulation. Every once in a while, there's a cleansing. But the sad thing is, unfortunately, the loss of life.
Talking about Hitler, shit.
Well, I mean, you said that, and I'm glad you said that because it kind of brings us into the next story. Let me bring it up. Now, I'm going, Jack. We was debating the proper name
I
of
would
this.
say Uzo.
So it's the Uzu or Ozu Bay Restaurant
Uzo.
in Baltimore, Maryland. So when
Yeah,
I was
right there, it's right down the Inner Harbor.
yeah, right in the harbor. So
Yeah, it's right around the corner from the power plant. I know right where it's at if anybody want to blow it up.
okay, nice.
Just a thought. Just a thought.
So let me ask you guys this question. I saw a conversation a couple of white people were having on a media platform. And the question was, how did Germany distance itself from Hitler as fast as it did? And the person said because they didn't, a lot of what's going on in the South right now, where some people want the Confederate flag, some people don't want the Confederate flag, some people can do this, some people can do that. And they said the reason why Germany was so fast to distance themselves from Hitler is because they abolished everything about it. So it wasn't we can still keep the flag, but it wasn't no buts. They got rid of every single thing about Hitler, from history, statues, the paper, You
That's
couldn't even
exactly-
say this man's name.
But that's exactly what's happening right now in this country, if you think about it.
They're moving a lot, real slow with it. So the fact that we're still dealing with Confederate flags, racist statues, compared to how Germany distanced itself so quick from Hitler by just abolishing everything of his name, anything of his photo so quickly.
But you gotta understand, they all wanted the same thing. In
Oh no,
this
there are a lot of people that didn't want it.
in this country, a lot of people cannot understand that when you cut yourself, everybody bleeds red. Everybody has blood coming out of their veins.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe, whatever son who, a friend of ours, son, who's African American needs blood, nobody's a match, and I go and I'm a match. So why should I not give him something to make him live? There's people in this country that they cannot understand that you gotta have to move past that. If you want things to get better, things have to be done like the way that's happening right now. It's kind of revolution.
Okay.
To me, I look at it as like the French Revolution history. It's like people are finally standing up. People are finally saying this is not what we want. And you see people, white people sitting in the audience with the black people, and they want the same thing. And they're saying, hey, we're protesting because we want the same for them. We got it, we're fine. Why can't they be fine like us? Why does somebody else have to be looking at that person when we are all equal? We all want to be equal, so-called equal. Like, like I tell you at work, if I can do the garbage, everybody can do the garbage. It don't matter if you're female, if you're a male, I don't want to hear it. So that's why I tell you, like, if I can't do it, I'm not going to say anything. But if I can do it, everybody got to do it.
I feel you. What do you think about that, Ace?
I got a lot to think about that. Yeah, because I ain't got enough time on my hand right now.
Yeah.
My thing with all this race stuff that's going on is, first off, they keep on saying it's getting worse. No, it's not getting worse. It's just being fucking recorded now. That's one. You know what I mean? Like, and like if you look at what's going on right now, all this is one big circle. All this is the same exact shit refacing. You know what I mean? So the same things that divided the country back in the 60s and 70s when the Black Panther Party and all that got put together,
Right.
all that same shit is coming back to the forefront again.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have a platform where it's being spoken about.
Right.
You know what I mean? We have a platform. We have people. So now it's like, I don't want to say that they don't have no choice but to stand with us now, because they're trying to save face because of everything being so. You know what I mean? Everything is so public now. Everything is
It's out
As
there
soon
and
as they have-
transparent.
Yeah, everything is out there immediately. So do I really think? I personally think a lot of the love and support that we get is out of it's they feel obligated to do it, not because they want to do it.
I
It's
feel you.
because they have to do it in order to save face.
Well, especially in a lot of other situations where you have people losing their jobs, you have businesses losing money. So I always say, once you start to hit people in the pockets, is when, especially from a business or organization, is where you actually get true change. So while we're talking about this restaurant in the harbor by the bay, they still haven't released the family's name. I don't know why. So it was a black family going to the restaurant, wanted to dine, and they were refused because of this restaurant has a dress code.
Okay.
Now, by law, a restaurant can have a dress code.
Okay.
which means you have to have a tie or whatever the situation may be.
Okay.
So this restaurant said it had a dress code where they didn't allow athletic
Okay, which means
Athletic attire.
sneakers.
apparel. So, which is totally understandable.
Okay.
The restaurant has the right to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But in the video, you start to go in the back and you see the little boy, the little white boy with a white t-shirt on and sneakers, which is the same reason they were saying that they could not let their son in. And this is coming from the manager. So the family is, why is that child allowed, but my child is not allowed?
Like I say,
Mm-hmm.
and I will repeat myself over and over and over. This is the United States of America, where racism is the number one factor. Period. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to have people try and change my mind. I didn't grow up here. I didn't understand when I came here what the difference was and why it was such a big deal. And it just upsets me to find out that really truly skin color actually matters. It really doesn't make sense to me. Like, why would I turn somebody if I had a business, why would I even try and tell a person, oh, don't come here? I mean, I've been closed for 3 months, you know. Yeah, I don't need your business. You got sneakers on. Sorry, you know. Who the hell does that shit?
Well, one
Good.
thing I'm going to say, the owners of the business, the owners of the restaurant, no invested. One thing, kudos, no investigation, no anything. They fired that manager immediately.
Yes,
Immediately.
No questions
immediately.
asked.
Yeah, I heard. I was reading about it. Yeah.
Immediately,
No,
no
I
questions
I
asked.
applaud the owners. I'm for it. I feel like
So
this is the time. Once we started this whole journey with everything coming down, people fighting for everybody's rights, hoping that things can change. I hope that it continues and I hope that it will change for the best and for good. It should not come back in 30 years for our children or grandchildren to go through all this shit again. It makes no sense
Yep.
to me. Like
But
Martin
even-
Luther
even-
King
even
should
that
have
move-
ripped the whole, like he already had ripped the whole place down. But again, people didn't care. So finally, somebody's taking a stand again now, and it's a good thing. Yeah, are people forced? Maybe some of them to do it, maybe. But there's people like me that don't really understand the whole concept between what the reason for these foolishness that's happening, why actually people really care about what color you are. I truly don't get it. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm stupid, but I don't get it.
What you were saying, Ace?
like one thing with Baltimore though is, so even with the owners firing that manager, um, even though they moved so fast, they had to move that fast.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because one thing about Baltimore, I mean, I've been to Baltimore multiple times. Baltimore ain't got no problem with kicking up. They would have burnt that damn restaurant to the ground
Real
immediately.
talk. Real talk.
Hey.
Immediately. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, not taking nothing from what the owners did. They did the right thing.
Yep.
But then again, you got to ask, did they do the right thing out of obligation or because they wanted to? Because they
Yeah.
truly, truly wanted to. So it's, there's always a gray area with things like that, especially, with racism and all that kind of stuff. There's always going to be a gray area.
Right.
Because, truth be told, 70% of the motherfuckers really don't like her.
Agreed.
Period.
They want your green, though.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they want those dollars, though.
Yeah, exactly. They want that money because they know we spend more money frivolously than anybody.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? So, so it's the whole race thing touchy. It's touchy.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well,
because there's good people, there's bad people of every race, color, this, that, and the third, and you know, it's just a touchy situation. Like a lot of the stuff you really can't even speak on unless you experience it yourself and
Exactly. I
have
don't know.
conversations with said persons that have different views on race than you. You know, so it's like, um, how can I word it? Like they listening now, they speaking now,
well, I
but
mean,
how much how much of it is because of media?
well, we all know the ownership did it not just because it was the right thing to do to help themselves out financially. Everything that's done by management or your employees still goes through the ownership. So they are going to get hit with a lawsuit
Oh yeah.
by far. But it's, I guess, to minimize the amount that they're going to have to shell out to the family because of this situation. I like what Starbucks did with the three black guys that got arrested at Starbucks. They shut they shut multiple restaurants down for a day and sent everyone for sensitivity training.
Yep.
That's an organization that I would say they went beyond what you would expect an organization to do.
Mm-hmm.
And there are more, hopefully, there are more businesses that'll start taking this more serious.
Well, we already our company had given us this about a year ago.
See, you got to start giving it out. You have to,
Yeah.
all the companies care about at the end of the day is the bottom line. They don't care if it came from someone that's blue, purple, white, or black,
Mm-hmm.
whatever situation may be. And what they don't want to do is get lawsuited, and that's what this company's going to get. So I give you kudos for quick reaction. But unfortunately, you had a manager who you didn't know, and
Boom.
that's going to cost
Yeah.
you a couple of dollars.
Woo! After this shit, I don't know. Wow.
All right, so let's keep it moving on. We have this young lady here. You remember her name? I forgot her name. I apologize.
No, I
So we
don't
have
remember.
this
Hold on.
18-year-old MT worker, black young lady, who was attacked by four white men, hit
Three.
with, huh?
Three.
Three? I thought it was four. All right, so three black men,
No,
Where-
three white men.
three white
No,
men,
it was
sorry.
four.
Yeah, it was four,
It was
right?
four.
It was four, okay.
Yeah.
By four white men, where this young lady was hit with lighter fluid or gasoline and lit on fire.
Yeah, they threw a Zippo on her, a Zippo lighter.
So this young lady was rushed to the hospital. She has third-degree burns. Now this is an 18-year-old young lady who's an MT worker, so that means she's helping everybody of all races
Althea Bernstein.
at Thea Bernstein. So there's just happened, so there isn't that much information out about it, but I wanted to bring it up. And the more information we get, obviously we're gonna keep giving it to you. But what I want to ask you guys today, when we talk about bullies, we always talk about bullies always bullying someone that they know won't fight back. So we're talking about 3, 4 men harassing this young free, I don't. It's not like she's full of muscles and she can really put up a big fight. So you have 3 to 4 men harassing this young lady and going to the fact that you would actually douse this person and set him on fire. So now it's considered
Well,
a hate
it's
crime. Go ahead, Ace.
But hold on, not to cut you up. Not even that she couldn't fight back. She was actually in
She
her
was
car.
in her car.
Right.
She was in
She
her
was in,
van.
yeah, she's in her car, seatbelt on, with her windows down, listening to music at a stoplight.
She didn't even do anything. It's like
Well, it goes to show you do have some people that just hate other people, and it's not. It may and it may not be because of experience these people have had, but most of it's because of the hate that they were taught.
it's sad because I really want to say stuff, but I'm
We'll hold that. I just think it's sad that you have men that would target a woman. I don't care what race you are, The fact that you would target a frail woman, douse her, and then set her on fire, and you think it's cool.
Nothing cool about it.
Exactly.
First off, but and like this isn't shit that ever went away. You know what I'm saying? Like I said a few minutes ago, this shit ain't never went away. This shit's been going on for years and years and years. You know what I'm saying? Like it never stopped. And when you have a commander in chief that is inciting racism and you know and kicking up violence and threatening to do this and threatening to do that with talking about sick in the army and all types of crazy shit and them shooting because of people peaceful protesting, and then now you got these ignorant backwoods
You can say it trailer park. Yeah.
Yeah, them. You know, you have them like he's putting a battery in their back for the shit. You know what I mean? So it's like
I will say this. They are looking for those guys. They are going to find you. This is the wrong time to do anything bad against anybody. And I will go along with what Ace was saying, the fact that this has been going on for a long time, and the only reason these things are getting out is because of social media. So social media wasn't happening back in Emmett Till days and Trayvon Martin days, where the first thing a person wants to do is to document it. And this is the reason why a lot of these guys who have been getting away with it for all these hundreds of years are finally being brought to justice. So these guys,
yeah, but most of them ain't being convicted, and if they are being convicted, they ain't getting no jail time out of it.
I think, it's sad that George Floyd had to lose his life for it, but I think that has stopped any police officer from not going to jail ever again. You guys are going to get hit with years on top of years from now on. From now on, because everybody got to remember, Eric Gardner, the gentleman, the police officer that applied that chokehold, didn't do 1 day in prison.
Nope.
Didn't do 1 day in prison. And it started with Mr. Arbery, where he was hunted like an animal. He was stalked like prey. And the fact that that video had to get out for things to start catching steam, and then George Floyd just took it over the hump, and you have all these other cases, enough is enough. And I think that's what everyone's saying. Enough is enough. And now everyone's being held accountable. They got Chavez over there on suicide watch.
I don't know if you caught it or not, but there was a case in Ohio where four white kids killed a black kid, and they were convicted, and none of them served a day in jail. It just happened. This is all stuff that's been going on recently. This is probably a week and a half, 2 weeks old. I could probably find the article and get names, but like, yeah, they're prosecuting, but they're still not doing anything to it.
Okay. No, I can't argue with you on that one. I think these officers are gonna get hit. I think they're going to make an example out of Charlie. Absolutely.
But that's going to be one example out of 100. You know what I mean? So they're going to like it's like the cartels. Like you don't see on the news these big drug busts, right? but the cartel gave that bust up.
Absolutely. So the rest can pass through.
Excuse me. Yeah, they'll give up 2,000 pounds in order to get 50,000 pounds in.
Got to take a little hit in the pocket. Got to take a little hit in the pocket.
You know what I mean? So, and that's what's going to happen with Charlie.
Do we know the
He's going to be that one that they give up and let 50 more of them get away with it.
I understand, but I think enough is enough. Michelle, what you got?
Do we know the condition of the girl at the current time?
They said she suffered third-degree burns. Like I said, this just happened, so they're not releasing but too much information.
Wow.
I know she's still alive. I want to say she's alive and well because third-degree burns ain't nothing to fuck with.
No,
but
she's not well. Even if she was physically well, mentally she's scarred forever.
Yeah, she's
Exactly.
forever.
You know, so she's never going to be right.
Exactly. But I know they're looking for these guys. These guys are going to get hit with a hate crime. And I'm not sure if that state has a death penalty or what kind of charges. Because you do have some states that are super hard on certain things. And I think hate crime carries about 15, 20 years. I could be wrong. But we wish this young lady...
If they put the hate crime statute on it, the feds take it, and then you talking. That's they come at you with their football numbers.
Yeah.
As soon as that hate crime statute gets applied to it, the feds automatically take the case.
He put a judge pulling out that calculator.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you got?
Yeah. Look out the window, count the birds.
You ain't
How
lying.
many birds do
She
you see?
said
37. All right, 37 to 74 years.
There you go.
That's like shit.
she said she was listening to music and all of a sudden she heard someone call her an N-word. She said she turned her head to look. Somebody was throwing lighter fluid on her, and then they threw the lighter at me, and my neck caught on fire. Not her face, but, you know, like, I mean, that's really sad. I mean, she's young.
All I know
Tough,
is
tough.
I got some glazed cinnamon buns for somebody's commissary when they lock these niggas up.
Wow. Sad. She's
So-
only 18, you know?
Yeah, she's only 18.
The funny thing is, they cowards. So they gonna go and protect your custody.
Oh, yeah.
You
What
know?
I mean,
You know what I mean?
that's what a coward's gonna do. You know, they do what they do. So we wish you the best, and the more information we get, we'll come back next week and we'll give some more information about your story. So we got one more story, and to this one put a tear in my eye.
Oh, yeah.
When I watched this video and this story, and we have the video, I'm gonna play the entire video for you guys, but I want to talk about it first. Should we play the video or should we talk about it first?
Ooh, okay, play the video first.
All right, so this is Mr. Antonio Smith. This is a gentleman who was on his way to Walgreens to get a Western Union from his sister.
No, he
ahead.
left Walgreens from picking up the Western Union.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm saying I'm reading the story. That, you know, this is why he was in that area. He was getting a Western Union from his sister, something he does on a regular basis. Someone from inside the Walgreens called about someone panhandling, and that wound up being someone else who was doing that, someone else who had a warrant. And with the lack of communication, you're going to see what transpired. So we're going to play that video. You're not going to see us. We'll still be right here. And as soon as the video ends, we'll continue the conversation. We'll be right back.
About suspicious activity, man.
Suspicious activity? Where about?
They said they got someone.
View that camera.
I told them what I was doing.
Oasis Son's right here next to the El
I
Rodeo.
told them what I was doing.
I was waiting for my sister, the Western Union, me some money. I always go there and get Western Union, and they know me.
Hey, you got your ID on you?
Yes, I got my ID. What are you guys doing?
We're out here investigating suspicious activity,
Well,
sir.
I'm not doing anything. I've been around cameras, so I ain't been doing nothing.
All right. So what were you doing over there at the
Walking
Walgreens?
around waiting up for Western Union. Call my sister right now. She's in Florida. You have a cell phone, call her. Don't
Call
try me
who?
like this. Call my sister in Florida. Don't do this. What are you doing? Oh my God! What are you doing?
Hands behind your back like you told. Put your hands.
What are you doing? Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Oh, please.
Put your hands.
Doing anything. Oh, my God. Jesus. Oh, my God. He's on my wrist. Oh, my God.
Stop.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he might be broke.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. 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 Oh, Jesus. Oh, it's hurt. Oh, my God.
Yeah, hold on. Relax.
Please, sir. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. Oh, it hurts.
I'm gonna take.
What did you guys arrest me for?
You have a warrant to your arrest, please.
Hey, this was the other guy. The guy with the warrants over there.
Oh, what do you
Huh?
like a warrant?
No, there's two different people.
Two different people.
Because they pointed this guy out to me.
I'm so confused. What?
Okay, so
Not the one with the warrant?
no.
Get his ID and stuff?
Yeah.
Drunk?
Yeah.
Good?
Yeah.
Hold on, sir. Hold on. We got an ambulance coming, okay? You don't want to talk to the ambulance?
Oh my God.
All right, y'all, we're back. All right, so pretty much what you see in the video is a man not breaking the law, going about his business, conducting his day, and he gets approached by...
Cooperating.
What happened?
I said, and cooperating.
Exactly. And you know, this is a crazy thing. He didn't have to show his ID because he didn't do anything wrong, but he still did it.
The person with the warrant who they were looking for was already in custody.
Right. He was already in the patrol car.
Yep.
So, and what I want people to understand is the sergeant. The sergeant is a sergeant because you are. In order to become a sergeant, you have to take a test. You have
the sergeant's exam.
Right, the sergeant exam, which means you have to know more about the law than a regular patrol person in order to be considered a sergeant, to get promoted. So why didn't this sergeant know? First of all, you walk behind someone, you grab them without them seeing you, and they wonder why they're not going to be shocked and confused. And the officer who allowed this shit to happen, instead of saying, whoa, wait, what's going on? He's cooperating. You see the utmost lack of communication by all parties of all four officers.
But the thing is with that, there wasn't even any communication. You had an overzealous. He was probably coked up. The way he acted, the way he just reacted so fast, he just came up behind that innocent man, grabbed him in a bear hug, and scoop slammed him. You know what I'm saying? So there wasn't even any words exchanged from what I remember between the officers. Like it was a grab, slam, and that's when the words were exchanged. You know what I mean? So this dude that ain't had, an officer that wasn't even on the scene to even know what was going on, just assumed some shit.
Well, no, he told the guy, just like the sergeant who came behind Mr. Smith, he told him, put your hands behind your back when the sergeant said it. Instead of letting the sergeant know what was going on, he just, obviously that's your superior. So you, even though it was wrong, you went with it. So you literally pick a man up and throw him on the ground to where you break his wrist?
And his arm.
He's really sitting there screaming, crying. And the only credit I can give them is for not escalating it even further by removing the handcuffs once they saw that his arm was broken and calling for an ambulance. But when you watch the video and you start to hear that this is not the guy who had the warrant, you see the sergeant walk straight to his car and you don't see him again in the video.
Mm-hmm.
He completely walks off and disappears.
He stood there with the dumbass look on his face for about 40 seconds and then disappeared.
Right, straight to his car. And then the other guys try to get him to wait for an ambulance. I don't want to be around you guys. My arm is literally fucking hanging. I want to get away as fast and as best as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think
the crazy thing is, I'm surprised they even let them body cams out.
Well, here's the thing. So much is happening now. Now, mind you, this happened a while ago already. The video has just gotten out. The video's just gotten out. And lawfully, once you request it and pay for it, they have to release it. But the only body cams they still haven't released to this day is of a Floyd's body cam. They still haven't released that yet. But
imagine when they do.
Yeah, I don't think they ever will. All this, it would make things way worse. But the fact that and I really wanted to steal this photo here, where you can see this man who doesn't look like he's a little tiny man. The fact that he was picked up so easily and thrust into the ground, and then the other officer walks over, I'm confused. You're confused, but you still help subdue the guy that you're confused of.
Yeah.
What's going on? And then you hear the officer that initiated the whole thing, oh, fuck. Yeah, oh, fuck. Where you should have stopped it and said he's cooperating. It was go ahead, Jace.
This isn't the guy. Period. Fuck him cooperating. This isn't him.
Real talk. Real talk. So it was not the dispatcher's fault. It's not the person who called from Walgreens saying the guy was out there panhandling and wound up having the warrant. But one thing they didn't say, which I want to find out, because usually once the person is arrested and put in cuffs, they have a code that they put over the air when in custody. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that was said. If it wasn't said, it's that officer's fault. But again, when do we start holding all officers to the letter, whether it's your superior officer or not, who's doing something lawfully wrong? When are you guys going to start stepping up and saying something?
Now.
They're scared to step up and say something, because you got to remember the last two public cases of other officers stepping up, they were both terminated.
True.
You know what I mean? You have the woman in Buffalo, New York, when the officer was choking the guy out. She actually went as far as jumping on the cop's back and put him in a chokehold. They terminated her. You know, that was I think that was 10 years ago. It happened in Buffalo, I believe.
Right.
Then you have the California case where the officer did everything correct. They terminated him. He filed all the motions and grievances, dealt with all the court hearings, got no recourse, to the point where he was so pissed off at the system, he took it upon himself, started killing cops and their families.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, and I hate the fucking police. Let me just say that. I'm gonna start with that. I hate them motherfuckers. And I got family members that are police. I have a very good friend of mine that's a cop. But I hate them motherfuckers.
No, I feel you. I definitely feel you. Also, go ahead.
But that shit has to change from within. Like, regardless of what we do, if you still have bad apples within of the older cops, the ranking cops that are calling the shots, because you're bringing in you're firing these older cops. Now you got to replenish your force, so you're bringing in all these new cops with no rank. They have to listen to their superior officers, which is the way that the system is set up. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to, in order to fix the issue, you have to completely eliminate all police at once and hire all new ones at once.
I think we need to change. I think we need to change the way overseas officers have to train for years before they're able to become a police officer.
What is the 21-week program here or some shit like that?
Yeah, it's like a 6-month program. Overseas, they take it a lot more serious. You put the numbers up, there are a lot less cops shooting deaths. They go through proper training, psychiatrical and physical. Everyone here is taught to kill. They're not taught to meme. They're not taught to properly de-escalate a situation. And it's sad. It's truly sad. But I will give New York this credit. New York passed a law that it was illegal to chokehold. The very next day, one guy a police officer got caught at camera giving a chokehold, and they fired his ass before he got back to the precinct. So they're holding these cops accountable now, again because of social media. A lot of these things are getting out there now.
The big word is now.
Agreed. But the fact that it's happening, even though it's now, and it's unfortunate that a lot of the people in the past had to go through the things they had to go through, but I want to see them, like Ace said, I want to see the cops start doing some serious time. Some hard time, some serious convictions, and then, here's the thing, if I do something, there's a consequence, other people are going to stop doing it. But when you see cop over and over again doing the same thing, walking away with their pension, not doing any jail time, and you wonder why it hasn't stopped.
Bro, well, Charles, even if convicted, he's still eligible for his full pension of like 1.1 million.
Mm-hmm.
The cop that killed George Floyd, the one with the knee on the neck, he's still eligible for his full pension, regardless of the outcome of what's going on with this case.
You couldn't let him out of prison. You would have to put him in it's not witness protection, but he would have to have around-the-clock protection. The officer that did get out on bail, a white woman ran up to him and
ran down on him in the grocery store.
Ran down on him in the grocery store and told him he should be ashamed of himself. You killed that man, and you're here shopping for fucking milk and cookies.
Hey.
And it was a white woman. That's what I tell you, man. Not everybody's a racist.
Bell that was out of jail 20 minutes was in the grocery store buying.
Yeah, no, he went straight from jail to the department store to get milk and fucking cookies. And she ran up on his ass hard. She followed him through the checkout and everything. She let everybody know this is the man that killed Floyd.
Wow.
So, yeah.
My whole thing is too, right? Say, and I know this for an actual fact, because actually me and my best friend was just talking about this shit. Like a cop can get fired from one town, and depending on reasons that he got fired, if no charges were filed, he can go 2 towns over and become a cop 2 towns over.
Right.
Or to the next state over and become a cop in the next state.
No way.
Once a cop is a cop and he gets terminated for any reason, he should be barred from being a cop forever.
Agreed.
Because now, first off, now he has personal vendetta. You know what I'm saying? Like now he's just a better cop because now he done lost his rank. He's in a whole new district or whatever you want to call it. He done lost his rank, and now he's starting back over someplace else as the same thing that he was just terminated from.
Agreed.
Now you know what I'm saying? So, like back where I'm from, there used to be an officer. He was actually the vice officer. His name was we can say names on here, right?
Yeah, good.
Oh yeah, his name was Officer Steve Maggio. He was the vice officer in Eastern Pennsylvania. He was shaking down drug dealers, taking money from them in drugs. Somebody told him. Somebody said he shook the wrong person down. Boy went and blew the whistle. They ran up in the cop's house. They found about like close to 90,000, 2.5 kilos of cocaine. Never a charge filed. They just terminated him. A couple years later, I'm on my way to Knoebels amusement park up in the Poconos. Stop at the Turkey Hill down the street from Knoebels.
Right.
Why Officer Steve Mazzio was in the Turkey Hill called me by name. Hey, Mr. Johnson, how you doing? Cop in a whole other area.
Yeah.
Same state. So they terming these cops and they going someplace else and doing the same shit all over again.
Right. Well, that's what they were saying that Derek had a record already of multiple cases of what do you call it? Multiple cases
17.
of excessive force.
Yeah, 17, and he actually had 2 other shootings on his record.
Exactly. So the track record is there. So hopefully, all this is going to stop all these things from happening, and we continue to go forward. The more information we get on all these stories, we do like we always do. We'll let you guys know of all the updates and everything. Before we get out of here, Michelle, any last words of any of the topics or stories?
I just wanted to ask, why is it only 700,000 that he got? Why couldn't he get 7 million for fucking his hand up?
I think his lawyers should have asked, or should have asked for more money, or they can do it a certain way. I don't know if they can, but I think the gentleman just wanted to cover maybe a little pain and suffering and
This
the medical
was
costs.
horrible. Like I almost got out of my chair, because I could see surgery. I could see them open a guy and take his whatever out, but I couldn't see that one. That one was like pure torture, man.
Yeah, man, it's like it's not like the guy looked like he could truly defend himself.
That's really sad. It's
sad.
extremely sad. But
yeah, the thing with that also is, real quick, not to cut you all off. From the little bit that I do know about, lawsuits and that type of stuff, like he doesn't have the lost wage aspect of it, which is the reason why he can't sue for higher amounts of money. So even though the shit was heinous, his hands are tied for how much he can ask for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
right.
It's like he can't ask for
They have a certain limitation. I know where you're going with it.
Yeah.
They have certain limitations.
What I mean? Like, yeah, so you're actually only like even now with people that were wrongfully convicted and coming home and charges getting overturned and them getting out of prison. Like I just seen the case about the 2 brothers that were wrongfully convicted on a rape case. They did like 26 years. They came home they both did like 26 years.
Yeah.
They came home. They actually only got 2.1 million apiece.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like
there's no limit on. The only thing you can raise money on is pain and suffering. There is no set amount on pain and suffering. So hopefully he'll get more. But at the end of the day, that still is a piece of good change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 'cause see what happens is if they fight, instead of them just paying the 700,000, just say if they try to say fuck that, we're not paying them nothing.
Right.
and it ends up going, and then it ends up going in front of a jury.
Oh yeah, you get way
when
more.
That's
no, I
when those
won't
big
settle for
settlements are
shit.
awarded. You know,
Well-
so if it never makes it to in front of a jury stage, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like so. Even though he only asked for 700,000, if they deny that and he ends up in front of a jury to deliberate and all, and let the jury determine on how much it's worth,
Right.
he'll end up with a couple million.
Oh,
he'll
he
end up with a
definitely
couple
will.
million.
I think they're gonna give him the 700 with the fast quickness, especially now that the video's out.
He might already have it.
Because you know it
Yeah,
tells you here this happened in February.
Oh, so he might
Yeah.
already got it.
Well, I mean the video just came out, so he probably will get it a lot faster now. But a lot of these cases that are happened last year and months ago, because of the Floyd and Mr. Arbery situation, a lot of these others, a lot of other incidents are gaining more track. So
Yeah.
this happened in February, and we're pretty much in July, and now we're just seeing the video. So I think that 700 grand will be a lot higher, especially because they're pain and suffering. Because now he could go after each officer for civil. So hopefully he got the right lawyer. Someone thank you for hanging out with us today, man.
Which is the crazy thing with that too. That comes down back on the city. You can't go after the officer's pension.
It depends on the
You know,
lawsuit. It depends on how the lawyer words it.
No, you can't. You can't go after the officer separately. You can only go after the city. You can't go after the officer separately. They are protected in that aspect.
Okay.
I do know that for. I do know that for 100% fact.
Okay.
Yeah. If he's on duty, if he commits said act on duty, yeah, you can't go after the officer personally. To sue it personally, it comes back onto the police union and their lawyers and their insurances.
Oh wow.
All right, man. Good. All right, Ace, I thank you for hanging out with us, for calling in. I really appreciate it.
Anytime, my brother. Anytime, man.
All right, we might
have
call you,
fun.
definitely
I
call
have
you
fun.
again. But I'm definitely going to call you before my team whip up on your team. Don't worry about it.
Man, listen, man. That's not gonna happen. You know it. I know it. The whole world knows.
Hey, we spanked y'all last year, baby. Don't worry about it.
You know, I don't. Come on, man. Really, you gonna count that as a win?
Hey, man, it's a W.
Listen, man. We had a third string quarterback in, a third string running back. Yeah, we had one of our starting wide receivers. We have one of 4 starting wide receivers. You really want to take that as a victory?
Absolutely.
I mean, you can have that.
I appreciate
You
it.
can. Truthfully speaking, I don't think we're going to have a football season this year, but that's a whole nother conversation.
That's too many billions. But like you said, we'll talk about it on the other show. Again, thank you for
Bye,
hanging out with
Ace.
us.
Too much of a spike.
I appreciate it, homie. I'll call you later.
Bye. Thank you.
All right, big homie.
Bye.
Yes, ma'am. Nice meeting you. Nice
Same
speaking
here.
to you.
So I also wanted, before we end the show,
Yeah, good.
I wanted to thank Jeanette for doing my nails, by the way. Jeanette. I call her whatever I can. Jeanette. She did my nails. Finally, look, the stores are open. I am going to give them a shout out. They're at J&S Divas Salon in Little Ferry. They are 2 brilliant young ladies. They are awesome. I love them to death. And I also wanted to give a shout out to Dockery Brows for getting my eyebrows done. Hey. All right, I'm done. I'm good now. I mean, we can end the show after this. I forgot to tell you, that was part of my week. I totally forgot.
Shout out to everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Who watch live. Again,
Bye,
thank you
everybody.
for those who will watch later. Again, if you want to comment on anything we said, you can add a comment, even though the show has is recorded. Well, I'm sorry, not recorded. After the live show,
but we'll be.
you can go in there and add a
and
comment.
view it.
Again, if there's
Anything that you want to talk
right
about
a topic,
or
a
want us
subject,
to talk about,
or
we're here.
a case that we haven't heard of, and you want us to help bring light to it, go to our website, which is www.truevibetv.com. You'll scroll all the way down. You'll see on your lower left-hand side, you'll bring the arrow key down. You'll pick this show, Extra Toppings. You enter your email and the comment, subject, or person, whatever it is that you want to talk about. We'll communicate with you via email. We'll let you know when we will discuss that. We appreciate y'all taking the time out of your busy schedule. Anything else?
No.
All right,
Don't
y'all.
forget to keep your masks on.
See ya next week.
Distance.